What's up guys, this is Lisan from Learning Life Lessons with Lisan, and today I'm making another video. I've been making more of them, and this time is going to be about flipping phones on Facebook and what I've learned throughout the 6 months I've been doing it, and how much profit I'm making, and some tips and tricks to make some more money. I don't know about you guys, but I hate 8 to 5 jobs. There's no motivation. You're working for somebody 8 hours a day, getting paid the same. Maybe once a year you'll get a raise. And I mean, you have to show up every day. It just gets boring, you know? I worked at Winco for a month. I worked at another retail store. I worked for a cafe. I'm working for a painting contractor right now. So I am working 8 to 5 still, but because it's the winter time and painting, like there's not a lot of jobs out there, not a lot of new houses being built in the winter time. I got some time to do this, make some mistakes, you know, learn stuff and make some money hopefully, and so far it's looking good. So I highly suggest you guys try out stuff. This is a great time to try stuff. There's been a lot of successful businesses lately. They say 80% of businesses fail in the first year. So if you can start something as young as possible, and learn from it, see how successful you can be, like it's a great way to do it. So I mainly sell iPhones just because I know a lot about them and I know the price points on them. I buy phones locally, like at a cheap price, and flip them. I sometimes buy on eBay and then some other sites that I trust. One of the hardest things is to buy cheap because of inflation, of whatever crap they want to talk. I don't know, the government's saying, but prices have gone up on so many things. And phones, what's weird about phones is they keep on fluctuating. So older models sometimes become really popular. Like I don't know, like the Pro models from like last year are still super popular for iPhones. And if you know anything about economics, like the more demand there is, the higher the price of the product the price keeps going up. And there's a lot of demand for iPhones, especially models with great cameras. And so you have to really know the economics, especially like almost like the microeconomics of your city. So it might be different in like New York, for example. Idaho, there's not a whole lot of people, and people have different products they like. So the microeconomics of Idaho might be very different from New York or like LA or something. So you kind of have to know. And Facebook, you can kind of see how you should price your product based on what other people are pricing them for. All right, so enough of me talking about that. Let me show you I made a sales report on all the phones I've sold in the last 6 months. I'm gonna show that to you and we can kind of look at the patterns. So this is my Google Sheets or whatever it's called, and all the phones I've sold. So I've sold about I think 85, 90 phones in the last 6 months, scrolling all the way down. And the most popular model is the XR. So you can see the average price. I used to buy them pretty at an expensive price. It's gone down a lot. But looking at here, these are all the models. And then I labeled the cost. It's important to know how the cost has changed over time for these models. And then this is how much I sold it for, and then this is the profit I made. And I used a formula. It's a very simple formula. I didn't use it before, but I think going down here, you can see it's just the sum of the phone sale minus the phone cost, which will give you the profit. And it's really easy. I do that with the monthly profit as well. So like starting in July, I only made $379. And I used that formula. You look at all the profit you made, and you just start at, the first box, which is H6, I guess, all the way up to H20, which is here for July. That's just an example for July. Where's the formula? H20. There you go. So, and then as you can see, I got scammed. The red is the negative. So I got scammed $450. So you can lose a lot of money. You got to be really careful. I got scammed again. somebody sold me an MDM locked phone, so it's a company locked phone. I wasn't able to access anything on there after I reset it, so I lost another $200. You gotta be very careful. But one thing that's really cool about creating a sales report is you get to see how much you're making every month. So as I kept doing it, the price changed. It went down the first month. It kept going down. But October, I did really well. And then November, I did even better. And then December, I made $1,500 for the first time, $1,498. And one thing I realized is the more phones I can sell, the more profit I can make. Whereas, like, even if I'm selling the phones for cheaper than I usually do, it's better to sell more phones for less individual profit of the phone, if that makes sense, than to sell only like 10 of them for like $100, you know. So although I could have sold this iPhone 12 in November for like $400, I sold it for $350, just because I didn't want to have to hold on to it and wait, because otherwise I have to use the profit I make to buy more phones. So the profit you're making, you reinvest into your business. And if you're not selling them, you're not making any profit. So the quicker you can sell the phone, the more profit you can make. So I sold about 18 phones in November and made a lot more, whereas in like September, it partially due to like the brand new model coming out, that was part of it, but then I also just held on to the phones for a long time. It just wasn't a great month. So the quicker you can sell the phone for, the more profit you can make. Having like a sales table, report, whatever you want to call it, is really important because you can identify all these different patterns that are happening. There's actually a lot that you can see. And I've noticed over time that the price of all these models have gone down. Just in the 6 months, they've gone down a lot. But there have been a couple phones like the iPhone XR and the iPhone 12 that have stayed about the same in price, and that means I can actually make more profit on them than like the iPhone 14, iPhone 13. And I've also realized people don't like to spend a whole lot of money on used phones. So most people don't like to go over $500, and that's really important to know because you don't want to spend $700 on a phone and then have to wait 2 weeks to sell it, because that $700 you could have bought 3 phones that were $150 to $200 and made $50 on each of them, instead of making like $20 waiting 2 weeks to sell an iPhone 14. So stuff like this, you notice as time goes by, but it does take a while to learn, and I might as well let you guys know if you're gonna do it. I might as well let you know beforehand instead of letting you figure it out yourselves. So if we go onto my Facebook page, one of the really important things is showing people that they can trust you. So I always ask people to review me, and right now I have 36 5 stars. So people can trust me. And these are all the phones that I've sold. I make sure to take great pictures, just very high quality pictures, not hiding anything. A lot of people like to take pictures in the dark and not show anything, but I took very high quality pictures, showed every part of the phone, all the 4 sides, the camera, everything. If it includes scratches, add them as well. Have a nice background, like look how high quality that looks. And then I have a very detailed like description. A lot of times I add the description in Spanish as well, so because a lot of my buyers are Spanish speaking. And then again, they really want to know that they really want to make sure that you're not going to scam them. So ask people to rate you after you've sold them the phone. Sorry I look so tired. I think it's just Christmas and New Year's, like that all ended, and I'm still like, I don't know. I think I just want to fall asleep. But the last thing I want to talk about is communication. That's one of the most important things I'm gonna do it down here so you can see my hand moves. It's very important. Communication is very important because you're messaging people on Facebook Messenger. If you're selling on other sites, you're having to message them through there. So communication is very important. You want to be able to know how to talk to that person. Again, it's about trustworthiness. People want to know, is this person going to sell me a good product that I don't have to return and I don't have to be constantly talking to them about what's wrong with it. And another thing about communication is it's also a way to market. So the way you talk, I kind of talk in slang sometimes, but if you can be as professional as possible, I think that's really important. If you're clear, if you're concise, you talk about the location where you're going to meet, you give them the address, you show up on time, you message them if they're not there. You don't want to be wasting so much time. This is a great business because you're the boss almost. You can tell them, I can meet you here at this time. If you can show up, that would be great. If they don't show up, don't wait for them for that long. Your time is important. You're the boss. You can tell them, I'll meet you there. Why don't you come and meet me here? If they suggest somewhere else, be respectful, but you can also be firm and say, I'm selling you something. I got a lot of people interested. I can't drive all the way over there where you live. And be safe out there. Always meet in a public place. I always like to meet people in front of my T-Mobile. If they do have problems, I can take the phone in there. A lot of times people like to go into their carrier-specific store. A lot of people up here use T-Mobile. It's super close to my house. It has a lot of lights there at night. So if you're selling something at night, just make sure you're in a public spot. A lot of lights. So if something does happen, you're not going to be injured or, especially if you're like a girl, woman, just be careful. There's some bad people out there. I don't want y'all to get hurt. Just be safe, meet in a public spot, place where you can get help if you need to. Because there's a lot of people who are out there to take advantage of you. And it's important to not let that happen. Anyways, guys, I'm sure this video is going to be longer than 10 minutes. But that's about it. If you have any questions, just feel free to put them down in the comments. I'm really happy to answer questions. I'll try to answer as many as I can. And I'm hoping that this is helpful, kind of helps you get started on, it doesn't have to be just phones. Anything selling and flipping stuff on Facebook. If you're trying to make extra cash, you're just low on cash, I think this is a great way to start. But yeah, again, I'd love it. I'd appreciate if you could subscribe to this channel. I think I'm gonna make more content like this. So if you like this type of stuff, you should subscribe. But yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And I'll see you in the next video.